Nobody Mikae. Any sana me. And any yosa any come me very. Yes. Maybe bastard. Mais Vajanta. Oh, Zenini. I'll repeat what I said in English. I said, nobody and nothing can stop me from coming home. I am an Ebira woman. This is my land. I am the daughter of late Dr. Jim Akpoti. I know my roots. I am not a bastard. And I am not afraid of anybody. I am not afraid of anybody. This is my home. And I want to thank every one of you. The past few weeks, running into a month, have been one of the most difficult and challenging for me. But I saw the love and the support. I saw your prayers, and they have kept me strong. When people say, she's an Ebira woman, she's stubborn, I say, we are not stubborn for nothing. When an Ebira person, we don't like being cheated. You cannot cheat an Ebira person and go away from it. And then you're like, One thing about us, one thing about the Ebira people, we're extremely courageous. It might take us time to make up our mind, but the moment we make up our mind to stand for a cause, come rain, March, come shine, we stay focused on our goals. I don't know if it's my husband, the Alema of Ori Kingdom. Is he here? Where is he? Because of God Almighty, the support of the people, and my husband, High Chief Emmanuel Uduaha, the Alema of Ori Kingdom. Listen, I am just an ordinary poor Ihima girl, right? If not because of his love, his support, his resources, I think it would have been very difficult for us to have gotten to this point. Let's be very honest. In everything we have done, prayers first. In everything, prayers first, but resources matter a lot. Yesterday, when we read the press release from the state governor, Governor Dodo, barring convoys, movement into the state, and setting up, stop please, and setting up barricades across the major roads leading into Kogi Central, I knew that we were up for a challenge. Oh, Zenini now. I'll repeat myself again. In everything we do, we put God first. And we communicate our needs to God through prayers. But then we also have human beings. And God walks his ways through people. My husband is one of them. If not because of the resources, his words of encouragement, every day, even while we were coming here today, he kept telling me, believe in your cause, stand strong. It is well. Like I said, I'm just a simply Ihima girl, simple, poor Ibira girl. You all know, I grew up here. Where would I have gotten the resources to hire a helicopter to bring me in today, if not because of my husband? I think God is at work here. God, when he wants to make a purpose, he brings people with resources to you. Yesterday, when we read on the news that rallies, gatherings will not be allowed, that roads will be blocked, convoys leading into the states will not be allowed, I knew that we were the target. But then I said, this is not political season, this is not campaign time. We are not having a rally. This is just me, the senator representing Kogi Central, coming down to have people to celebrate this festive time, the Salah, with you. And there is nothing wrong in that. I am breaking no law. This is Nigeria. We have the right to be free, to express our choice in gatherings and celebrations. We have caused... No, stop, please. I can give you the microphone to talk. There is no law in this country, Nigeria. There is no law in the Constitution that prohibits me from coming home to celebrate Salah with my people. There's no law at all. And therefore I knew that even though I am not a lawbreaker, I appreciate the powers of the governor. In addition, I also read the statements, the press release from the Commissioner of Police. Okay, I also respect him. But again, we are gathered in our home. This is not the streets, right? So we're breaking no law. And also, we came in with a helicopter. We didn't come by road. So that means we did not break any law again. No convoy. But now let's get to something very important. Let's get to something very, very, very important. On the 23rd of February, listen, Arihin, this is very important now. On the 23rd of February, was it 23rd? No. 28th of February, 2023. On the 28th of February, 2023. You all voted for me across party lines. You lined up in the various polling units and you voted for me to emerge as your senator, right? You were not forced. Your votes were not bought. You stood under the sun to cast your votes for me, Natasha, right? So that I will represent you in the National Assembly as a senator, right? Don't let anybody steal that from you. Don't let anybody steal your representation away from you. The entire country is suffering from bad leadership. The only reason why I have been persecuted so much in the past 1 month is because I dared the bad, corrupt system. I refuse to do things the way they usually play politics. I refuse to be silenced. The past it's been a year and 4 months, right? Yes, I was sworn in November 2023. So that makes it a year and 4 months about. 5 months, a year and 4 months here. It has not been an easy journey. It's just that I had it all, I kept it all inside. It's not been an easy journey. The empowerments you saw here, the police stations that we built, the schools we're rehabilitating, the numerous water projects, it had to take a whole lot of lobbying amongst my colleagues, ministers, and many others to get this project to you. It's not as if they were given on the platter of gold. I went out there in Abuja and I worked for you. I used the office that you gave me to work for your good. But as I worked, I created enemies. As I worked diligently, as I brought the dividends of democracy to you, I created enemies among some of my colleagues. There are some that felt I subjected them to ridicule. They told me, Natasha, your empowerments, by your empowerments, you're making our constituents insult us. So I kept on apologizing to them. Distinguished, I'm sorry, that's not my intention. Distinguished, I'm sorry, that's not my intention. But in my heart, I knew that I had promised that I would spend every day working in Abuja for your good. And even though I apologize for them, I will not apologize for bringing good to you. Yes, I stand by my words. I was harassed by my Senate president, who thought it was normal for him to get what he wanted. A beautiful woman, I want you, so I should have you. But he didn't get that through me. Ebira women are not cheap. Ebira women are women of dignity. You might see an Ebira woman, if she's divorced because she just did not feel connected to that marriage, but that does not make her a bad person. But I will say this, from the time I told him no, things got difficult for me there, but I still kept it here. I was still focused on my work. Senator Ireti mentioned that of all the 4 female senators, I enjoyed the most privileges. But I want to let her know, what she thought was privilege was actually sponsored by my husband or myself, not the Senate president. The fact that many of them thought, many people thought, that because the Senate president was friends with my husband, therefore all the projects I had here, he was the one who gave me. And you saw me, he gave me nothing. So I'm telling Senator Ireti, I did not enjoy more privileges than she herself enjoyed or the other women. I actually suffered more. But because I did not want to put out my pain, I wanted to keep that harassment in secret. That was why I kept on working. Even if it had to require me spending my own personal money, I had to do it. And people thought it was Akpabio doing all for me. That's not so. It's good I put it right. But the peak of it happened on the 30th of January. This year, on the 30th of January 2025, there was the groundbreaking ceremony of the 5 mini LNGs in Ajakuta. That project angered him, and I'm saying it on camera. He got very angry, and he called a number of people in the cabinet, questioned them. How come that project found its way here? And in his words, he said, how can such resources, gas from the Niger Delta, be moved to the north? That he will stop it. And I will prove to you what he did. After the Senate president removed me, by the way, it is because of the 5 LNG projects that Akpabio removed me from the committee of local content. Because he said, ever since he made me as the chairperson of local content, I have used that office to promote the North. That was what he said. So 5 days after the groundbreaking ceremony, he removed me from the committee. to the Committee on Diaspora. And that's okay. I took it in good faith. I took it in good faith. But what happened after that? He commissioned the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, commissioned his SLA, his senior legislative aide on Niger Delta, Dr. Ominimini, who is also the Secretary of PANDEF. He commissioned him to start online and media propaganda against the 5 LNG plants. You can search on Google, you will see. Dr. Minimini sponsored a lot of write-ups calling on President Tinubu to cancel the 5 LNG projects. It's all there, you can see it. Check Tribune, Vanguard, This Day. You see Google Dr. Minimini. And I asked, are we not human beings here? Don't we deserve projects? Don't we deserve developments in Kogi Central, Kogi State? Is Kogi State not part of Nigeria? How can how can the Senate President, who is the Senate President for the entire country, how can he use his office to promote regional divide? Akpabio is not the Senate President for South-South. He's the Senate President for Nigeria. And it is wrong for Akpabio to use his office to commission and task his SLA, Dr. Minimini, to call for the cancellation of the 5 LNG plants. Those 5 LNG plants were approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And for the fact, please, can you give him the applause? Yes. The five mini LNG projects, they were approved by an executive order of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Akpabio does not have the power to stop it. Akpabio does not have the power to stop that project. We have been quiet for Ajaokuta Steel Company. But you know what? In the 1 year and 4 months I have spent in the National Assembly, I understand why Ajaokuta Steel Company is not working. Because of many interests. Nigeria is such a country that once you take one progressive step forward, you have 5 dragging you backwards. Especially when that project is in a land that people feel does not deserve of anything progressive. Sometimes I wonder, if Ajaokuta Steel Company is in Lagos, will it stay moribund? No. In summary, there's a whole lot happening right now, but a lot is politically motivated. And these people are using the institutions to silence me. And in silencing me, they are silencing you. On the 20th day of February, was the day I protested the move of my seat. I walked into chambers and I was told by the staff, Senator, you're not sitting here anymore. Your seat is by the corner, near where the workers are sitting down. A corner where the cameras will not get to you. In summary, moving my seat from where I sat before was a way of taking away my visibility. And I said, no, I will not move to that corner. I was not notified beforehand. I was not given a chance to ask, why are you changing my seat? Why can't you move somebody else there? Why me? But I will say this, that I have not told people before. 2 days before that day, a senator called me and said the Senate President had complained about my sitting in that position. And I asked why. He said, each time the Senate President looks at the screen above me, and he sees me there, it angers him. I have not said this anywhere, but I'm saying it today. I was told about it 2 days before. And the night before that day, I mentioned to my husband, I said, the Senate President's hatred for me is deepening. You see, it got to a point whereby everything I did annoyed Akpabio. It got to that point where everything I did, the sheer presence of myself annoyed him. And that is what you call bullying. I was actually being bullied in the National Assembly by himself. Through his actions, I was being bullied. You know, I mentioned, and many of you know, for the past 8 months, I have not been speaking on the floor of the National Assembly. There was an incident that happened here in Oboroke, where after a heavy rainfall, a grandmother and her child were swept off by the flood into an erosion. There was a gully there. I penned that down as a motion so I could read on the floor and have the Senate President call on the SGF's office, because they do have these ecological funds that take care of erosions. I penned that down. Twice I wanted to present it, he refused me. So what does that mean? Each time the Senate President denied me a chance of presenting a motion of your needs is a time he silenced you and deprived you of your rights as a citizen. So all the Senate President did to me the past 8 months, silencing my bills, silencing my motions, and not allowing me to participate in debates, he silenced the voice of Kogi Central. I need him to understand the gravity of that. So I was suspended. When it all got too much, I decided to table. Oh, by the way, after that seat move on the 20th, that was when I sat my husband and I told him everything that I was going through. I had to open up. So, after I went public with the sexual harassment, the day after I tabled the petition, I was suspended. I tabled my petition on the 5th of March, 2025. On the 6th of March, I was suspended for 6 months. And they say my suspension is on the grounds of gross misconduct. And I ask, what exactly makes up the gross misconduct? Because I refuse to move seats? When there is a video of how the Senate President himself, when Saraki was a Senate President, you all saw how he behaved. I actually applied more decorum. I wasn't moving around as if I was going to fight. I didn't exchange words, and neither did I insult the Senate President. I minded what I said. I was very intentional. I put facts out. I said, Mr. Senate President, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid. May Hianwa, I mean, what they call it. I'm not afraid of you. You want to suspend me? And for clarity again, for clarity, my outburst on that day to the Senate President was in response to the fact that he told the Sergeant at Arms to take me out and told the clerk to prepare for my suspension while I was reading an Order 10. If you watch that video, I stood up and I said, Order 10, Order 10, please, 3 times. I took the book and I started reading Order 10. The Senate President forgot that his microphone was on. And he said, Sergeant at Arms, take her out. I'm not his employee. Akpabio did not employ me. He can't tell people he can't instruct me to be taken out like I'm nobody. Because by telling me to be taken out, he was like telling the whole Kogi Central to be taken out. We are not fools. We are not fools. In addition, while I continued reading the Order 10, the next thing he said, clerk, prepare for her suspension. What does that tell you? He had been looking for a means of suspending me. He has been looking for an opportunity to get me out of that place. What that means is that my suspension was premeditated. It was planned. He had conceived it and was looking for an opportunity to strike at me. Because when they say I was suspended for gross misconduct, I'm like, we have seen senators fight. We have seen videos where senators will insult themselves and tear their clothes. Were they suspended? So what did I do to warrant being suspended? Anyway, then I will say this, and I'm saying this openly as well. On the 14th day of March, at about 10:30 p.m., on the 14th day of March, at about 10:30 p.m., I got calls that Governor Yahaya Bello was with Akpabio. That night, let me say this now. On the 14th of March, at 10:30 p.m., mind you, 2 days before that, which was on the 12th, Akpabio had called Governor Dodo on the phone that he should commence my recall. But Governor Dodo told him it would be impossible. No, hold on. This was what Governor Dodo said on the 12th. Listen. He said, on the 12th of March, Akpabio spoke to Governor Dodo to recall me. But he told him to be impossible because the masses are with her, the people are with her. But Akpabio was not satisfied. He then sent for Yahaya Bello. And it was actually Senator Asukwo from Cross River that drove Yahaya Bello from Hilton Hotel. I was informed of everything. And when I got to know, hold on, the meetings was in two folds. He told him to commence my recall. And that he was going to fund it. Of course, monies changed hands that night. The second thing he told him was that he should try and kill me. I didn't make this public, but I wrote to the IG of police. And Akpabio told Yahaya Bello, I am saying, standing by what I've said. He told him that he should make sure that killing me does not happen in Abuja. It should be done here. So it will seem as if it's the people that killed me here. I didn't make that public, but we did notify the security agencies of that. I called on the media houses. I called on This Day, I called on Punch, I called on a number of parties that I know. I tried to get them publish the information ahead of time. That look, this is the nature of the meeting. They are going to commence my recall. But of course, the print media, if you don't have evidence, they will not be able to put it out. So they said, Natasha, do you have any evidence that your recall is being planned? I said, I don't have any evidence, but I know that the meeting took place and this was what transpired. But you see, 3 days after, the recall started and they called me, oh, you said it. I said, I did tell you that this was going to happen. But what is it now for us? We saw what happened. They came around, deceived our women that there was an empowerment program going on. They told them to come out with their voter's card and lined up. They took advantage of our illiteracy. They took advantage of poverty. And to many of you, even those of you who are here, I watched the video of the poor old woman pleading that I should forgive her, that she was told. If you are here, or if her son, whoever it is, tell her I'm not upset. Even if those of you, even if you are here and you actually were cajoled or deceived to sign, I'm not upset with you. Because I know that they will not succeed with that illegal act. The recall will not be successful by the grace of God. You see, the few videos that circulated and pictures were in Ododo's ward and Yahaya Bello's ward. Most parts of Kogi Central, there was no activity. So what did they do? They went into some rooms and assembled a few of them and started filling in the petitions themselves. That was what they did. And I believe INEC has been notified of this. And this actually is another litmus test on INEC to redeem its image. The recall. Should I give you the mic? Should I give you the mic to speak? No, should I give it to speak? Please, can you step downstairs? No, just don't come. I'm not joking. Don't come here anymore. And then you, professor. If you come to me again, I'll give you the microphone to talk. So like I said, the whole country and the whole world is on INEC. The nature in which the petitions, 250,000, really? 250,000 here in Kogi Central came out in just about how many days? In 2 days? In 2 days, 250,000 people came out to sign petitions for the recall of the most performing senator in Nigeria. Are they for real? And then you're right. Here's one I go. That's impossible. But you know, thank you. But you know, this is Nigeria. This is Nigeria. And we're a country trying to strengthen our institutions. But so far right now, our institutions, when I mean institutions, the judiciary, even the security arms, agencies, and INEC itself, they are not perfect. And when something is not perfect and working optimally, that means there are rooms for some, should I say, misadventures to take place. So we must not fold our arms. We have seen, from my own personal perspective, what I see INEC doing is aiding and guiding the petitioners on how to perfect their illicit acts. The first time the petition was submitted, they didn't have address, phone numbers, and all of that. So INEC went out to guide them on how to submit information that will perfect their petition. And what did they do? The petitioners who were from the other party, the APC, now submitted a letterhead. What's the name of it? Kogi Central Political Frontier, yes. And the address there was number 4, Oboroke Eba, Oboroke. That address does not exist. And we ran a check on the status of registration of the association which sponsored my recall, Kogi Central Political Frontier, and the CAC report came negative that that association is not registered. So I'm still waiting. I'm wondering why INEC has not yet made a statement to that effect. or send people down to Oboroke here, which is just 5 minutes away, to ascertain whether that address is real? Or have we stooped to the point whereby fictitious, non-existing associations and individuals can call for the recall of a senator? Are we in a kangaroo country? We should not allow that. So now, I don't know whether the process will be stalled, but we are in courts as well. Also, I don't know when they will come down here to verify you, but I will say this. If the time ever comes for the verification of the 250,000 people that signed for my recall, I trust that you will do right. I trust that you will speak, that you did not... What's going on with that car? It's overheating. Tell him to turn it off. Tell Bemi to come out of that car and switch off. Bemi, please come out of the car. Look at what's going on. Yes, but whatever it is, I know that if that time ever comes, whereby you will have to face the verification of the signatures, I trust that you will speak your truth. That you gave your mandate to Senator Natasha Akpoti, and you are not ready to lose her as your senator till the year 2027. And if we decide to continue, we will still win again if we decide. Because we know what we want. And we are tired of suffering from bad leadership. We are tired of being impoverished. Lastly, example. I'll give you, two examples. Two examples of how corrupt the institutions are. And that even the good people in this institution that are trying to resist corruption, how they get punished and intimidated. On the 25th of March, that was just last week Tuesday, was supposed to be the final hearing and decision on my suspension at the Federal High Court. You know, we went to court on the suspension. So the judge, Justice Egwato, was supposed to sit, take all the pleadings and decide, which I believe would have been in our favor. And that means we would have had the suspension quashed, and I would have resumed the duties at the Senate. But what happened? As soon as the judge resumed, he recused himself from the case. What that means is he withdrew from himself from the case. And why was that? The moment the case was assigned to him, the Senate President wrote a petition against the judge. Wrote a petition to the NJC and the DSS. And we all know why. Maybe the judge refused to play game, and that's why they wanted to take him out. But what I got to know, allegedly, is that the night before the Tuesday, which is Monday the 24th, that some threats were made, and that was why the judge recused himself. Allegedly, I heard so. So what does that tell you? Even though we say judiciary is corrupt, there are some good heads in the judiciary. But again, these good people, they get harassed and intimidated to do bad things. In a way, I would say, God bless Justice Egwato, even though I wish he did not recused himself. I wish he had the courage to just sit that day and determine the matter on merit. But God bless him anyway. Our case has been assigned to another judge, forgotten her name, a lady. Justice Nyako, yes, Justice Nyako. And one more thing I was going to say, yes. You see, the fact that we have leaders, when a person is appointed to a leadership position or elected to a leadership position, that does not mean that they are absolutely right in every decision they make. I was suspended for 6 months, which is against the Constitution. Nigeria's constitution does not allow the suspension of elected officers. But again, the Senate says it is guided by its rules. But what does the Senate rule provide for suspension of senators? 14 days. It says maximum 14 days. Today is the 26th day. So who else, between myself and the Senate President, Dr. Akpabio, who is in gross violation of the Senate rules? Is it not himself? You see, here you have those in authority violating the Constitution and playing God through abuse of power. That is what is happening. My suspension, not only is it illegal, because the signatures that were used attached to my suspension were all attendance sheets. They were not signatures that were generated by senators themselves. It was an attendance sheet that they attached to the suspension report. So that suspension itself is saddled with lots of irregularities. And it amounts to gross they themselves, the entire team that sat on it, and the Senate President, that he was a judge in his own cause. All the entire procedure amounts to what they call gross irregularity, gross injustice. And I know that in the fullness of time, God is going to turn around that for our victory. You see, lies may tarry but for a while. Truth will always prevail. But while we wait unto God, because you see, God does things in miraculous ways. God's time is different. I have had to sit back and ask myself, what have I done wrong? Should I have kept quiet, maybe? But then, how much longer will I keep quiet and watch this man stifle me in that place? Probably almost making me invisible, ineffective there. How long will I keep quiet? Especially when I knew that many women are going through the same thing that I went through there. Many of our daughters who are probably even in universities, no matter how intelligent they are, some lecturers will have asked them to sleep with them before. It happens, it's our reality, and nobody talks about it enough. Even in the banks or the corporate arena, we have some of our wives, our sisters, our mothers, even though they are married, you will see their bosses asking for their bodies in exchange for promotion. And nobody speaks about it. So I have thought about this, I've reflected deeply, and I say, you know what? It's about time I speak up. Even though it's going to be difficult, people will attack me, attack my personality, my integrity. But you know what? I have spoken the pains, silent pains of many women. And I'm proud I did. Because next time, it will be easier for another woman to do so. And hopefully one day, we will have stronger reforms and laws that will protect women in political spaces, in corporate arena, or in schools everywhere. Our women will feel safe, whether they are married or not. So this is a journey not just for myself, but for all Nigerian women. And I'm grateful for your support. I'm grateful for your love. It's not over yet. Let's join hands together and resist the evil intentions of those that did not vote for us, who think they have the right to recall us. No, we will tell them no. We love Natasha as our senator, and we appreciate the good deeds she's doing. And we are connected with her in this journey of progress and economic development. And we will continue praying to God for guidance, for strength, and ultimately peace in our lands. Happy Salah. Happy Salah, everyone.
Oh, are you happy with the suspension?
Natasha, Akpoti. Why Natasha, Akpoti? Natasha, Akpoti. Why Natasha, Akpoti?
Today being the 1st of April 2025, I came here after being away from home for 2 months, and amidst all the chaos and the controversies that surrounds myself, the Senate President, the INEC recall, everything, I am actually really pleased with the massive turnout by my constituents to receive me. More importantly, the fact that they were able to dare the unjust restraints that were placed by the governor yesterday, which called for the cancellation of rallies and gatherings and all whatnot. I mean, it's very heartwarming to know that my people were able to come out in such numbers, in their thousands, waited for me since morning, you know, and prayed that I actually come, because, you know, it takes, I keep saying that democracy is all about the people. Government, real true government are the people. And if I, as a representative, see this amount of love and support, then I think that's where I get my courage from. And then I have no option but to yield to that pull from the people. So I'm so grateful that they came out. I'm so thankful for this reception. And I'm also grateful to my husband for his generosity, I would say, because we spent pretty much all night with our think tank brainstorming how to maneuver the various restrictions that were placed by not only the governor, but the Commissioner of Police earlier today. So we took a whole lot to think, okay, we were not to use the waterways because even the fishing activities were suspended today. So that means any movement on the water could be seen as countering the government order. So we had to take away the accessing Kogi Central to the waters, because, you know, we would have as well gotten in through Ajakuta local government. And then we thought the roads, we saw the list of all the roads that were going to be barricaded from the east, west, south, and north. We knew there was no way we could enter the state. The only option we saw was through air. And then immediately we began to make efforts towards that. So, like I say, it takes a whole lot of resources, courage, support from the people, and God Almighty to have made this possible. And I thank God, because at the end of the day, it just shows that, you know what, against all, people must find the courage to dare unjust situations. That's it. And whatever happens from today, well, I just commit every day to your hands. With regards to what statements I made today, yes, I still insist on my stance that I was sexually harassed by the Senate President, and that the harassment generated into malice, which denied me a lot of my privileges and rights on the floor of the National Assembly, and by extension denied the people of Kogi Central each time he denied me a chance to present a concern was him subjecting them to a denial of federal representation. And that's wrong. This is democracy. You can't extend your personal vendetta on one person to the people. You know, and of course, again, I said my suspension is illegal. It's unjust because it contravenes the Nigerian Constitution and even the Senate rules that says the senator should be suspended for just 14 days. Why 6 months? Especially when there are a series of court precedents, you know, in Ali Ndume and Omar Agege's cases. You see that the courts have time after time said you cannot suspend a senator that is duly elected. You cannot, and if you have to apply by the Senate rules, then it will be 14 days. And that's, again, for very serious offenses. So when they say that I was suspended, not for the sexual allegation, but for gross misconduct, the question again is, what exactly did Senator Natasha Akpoti do on the floor of the Senate that amounts to gross misconduct? I didn't fight. I didn't insult anybody. I wasn't violent. So what did I do? I didn't tear anybody's shirt. We've had senators fight. We've had senators slap each other. We've had senators tear clothes, throw things. In short, even the last 2 weeks, you've seen a whole lot of heated debates on the floor. But nobody was suspended. Why? Because I'm a woman? Or why? Because I'm a minority among the minority? Because when you talk about the larger tribe, ethnicities there, you have about 20 Yoruba senators, Hausas, you have a lot of them, but I'm the only one there. So why? I'm actually even very disappointed that my senators from Kogi, especially the senator from Kogi West, took it upon himself. He did not even mention the fact that Senator Karimi also cooked up a report trying to label me as if I'm a KGB agent infiltrating the National Assembly to disrupt the 10th Assembly and democracy. So what I did in that was that I took a preemptive measure by writing to the police so that they could invite Senator Karimi to testify or attest to the fact, to how he knew about the so-called KGB agent and the infiltration moves. So I call my suspension illegal and unjust, and I hope that the courts will do justice. It's unfortunate that Justice Egwato recused himself on the 25th of March 2025. He did mention that he was recused because of the petitions that the Senate President wrote against him. But then I also got to know, like I said, allegedly, that he was also threatened, because that's what usually happens. And I respect his decision, but I pray that the next judge, who is Justice Binta Nyako, actually will be strong enough to stand against any threats. Because at the end of the day, if the bad people keep winning, that means the entire country will suffer and our democracy suffers. So we need courageous people to strengthen the institutions who are supposed to be independent anyways. I look forward to getting back to the Senate so that I could resume my functions as a senator duly elected by my people. But if perchance I am not recalled at time, I will still continue carrying out my activities. Tomorrow we're going to commence the reconstruction of 3 primary healthcare centers in Kogi Central, and we have a lot of other activities on. We also have some empowerment programs that will be coming up this week here. It doesn't stop me from doing my work, even if it means I have to work extra hard, you know, since I'm out of office temporarily, to make my people feel the good impact of democracy. But I pray that Nigerians across, even beyond Kogi Central, will be able to continuously lend their voices, because an injustice to me is an injustice to everyone. We all see what is happening even to Governor Fubara himself, whereby he's suspended for 6 months as well, against the backdrop, against the Constitution. You know, I did mention that the Nigerian Constitution does not allow the suspension of elected officers. So again, I thank Nigerians, I thank Nigerian women for their support, for their understanding. Yesterday, when I received the award for the Voice of Good Governance, I mean, the chair in the hall, when I was called, just reaffirmed that many people are with me. Many women across Nigeria are with me in this fight for justice on the sexual harassment part, because many women are actually facing this ill, but they cannot just speak up. And most of these men, some of the men actually who criticize me, I will tell them, well, they should go home, call their wives, call their daughters and ask them. They will be surprised what their wives and daughters will tell them that goes on in workplaces, or in the learning institutions. So generally, I want to appreciate Nigerians. I want to appreciate the international community, the many international organizations that have lent voices and wrote statements. I want to appreciate Auntie Obi Esekwesili, Kadraya Ahmed, and many others who have, irrespective of their regions or their states, have found a purpose in what I'm doing, and have stood by me through thick and thin. And again, I'm going to call on INEC, and I'm going to call on the police and the DSS. Hey, these are institutions that are meant to safeguard and strengthen Nigeria's ecosystem with regards to the good governance. So it's about time that they find courage to desist from being manipulated by the powerful people, especially those who have so much to throw around. It's about time they resist this temptation so that they'll be able to serve ordinary citizens. I mean, if I myself, being a senator, can be subjected to so much attacks in just the span of 1 month, you can imagine what an ordinary citizen who wants to challenge the illegalities around will face. Do you understand? If I myself, with the support I'm having, with my family support and all that, and my party, I'm still able to face this much attack, imagine what it will happen to an ordinary person. So I think I'll just tell INEC, hey, they should just do what is right. The INEC chairman should not be afraid. He's going to retire soon. This is pretty much his last term. This is the time for him to redeem his image, especially with regards to the conduct of the past elections, as regards to the, especially what was captured in the several electoral observers' reports. The INEC chairman should do right by this recall. I know it's fraudulent. The signatures were collected. The few signatures amongst the lot were collected by fraud, deceit, and many were just manipulated. So it will be really gruesome to know that such illegality will succeed at this day and age. I have nothing been other than a good citizen, a law-abiding citizen, and I don't think I should suffer just because I decide to dare the corrupt institutions. Because what they're doing to me is trying to break me down. All of what has happened is just a plot to break me down, make me apologize, and make me fall in line and behave like every other senator or every other politician. But I have always said, I got into politics not to behave like a typical politician, but to try to reform the political space so that it can be safer and more effective, you understand, for Nigerians. So that's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.